All right, this next section is going to be about the Harlem Renaissance and the Lost Generation, and we're also going to throw in some stuff about Prohibition from the 1920s as well. Harlem has always been the black neighborhood of New York City, okay? And in the 1920s, there was an explosion of black art coming out of this area. We're talking about painters, musicians, writers, anything dealing with art. It was coming out of Harlem, and Harlem was kind of setting the trend for the country. Other areas of the country started imitating art from Harlem during the Harlem Renaissance. So the Harlem Renaissance was an outpouring of black literature and music during the 1920s. For literature, we have Langston Hughes. He wrote a very famous poem called I Too, Countee Cullen, and James Weldon Johnson. In music, we have Marian Anderson, Duke Ellington, and Louis Armstrong. Louis is going to be the one to watch here, folks. He is going to be the most famous musician out of that bunch. Now, out of the writers, we have Marcus Garvey, okay? So, Marcus Garvey was all about, he said basically black people did not know about their history because during the slavery days, nobody bothered to teach them history, and even if they would have, they probably would have taught them European history, not African history. So a lot of black people in America did not know where they came from. So Marcus Garvey suggests that black people get back to their roots and they learn their history so they know who they are. That's what the Back to Africa movement is all about, okay? It did stress black nationalism, which is a racist ideology that says that black people are better than white people. By the way, when white people say the opposite, that white people are better than black people, that's racist too, okay? And racial pride. I don't see a problem with black people being proud to be black. There's nothing, whatever. So that's Marcus Garvey's Back to Africa movement. It does not tell everybody to go back to Africa, unlike what it looks like. All right, so we have the Lost Generation. Because we had returned, in a way, to the Gilded Age, now society in America was all about what kind of car you had, what kind of house you lived in, what was your job, how much money do you have in the bank. These are the things that mattered to a lot of people in the 1920s. And because of that, the writers of America got disgusted with it. And a big group of writers called the Lost Generation left America. They renounced their American citizenship, and they moved to mostly Paris, France, okay? Including Ernest Hemingway and F. Scott Fitzgerald, okay? Sinclair Lewis as well, okay? So those guys, we lost that generation to Europe, basically. All right, and the big one, y'all. This is going to be on the LEAP test. There's no way around it. You have to know, of all the amendments that we're going to talk about this year, the 18th Amendment is the one I can guarantee you is going to be on your LEAP test, okay? The 18th Amendment outlaws the sale and manufacture of alcohol. Now, the way the progressives sold this to America, they lied, okay? Progressives take little baby steps and they erode the foundation of society, and they erode our laws until you wake up one day and you find out that you're very far away from where you started. They take little baby steps. Well, the progressives in this case told us that all we were doing was we were going to outlaw hard liquor, okay? They were still going to allow wine. They were still going to allow beer. So Americans said, okay, if that makes America a better place, if that stops poverty and drunken beatings and stuff like that of women, we can handle that. So let's go ahead and keep our beer, keep our wine, our champagne, and we'll give up the hard stuff. So Congress passes the 18th Amendment and this president signs it. And then they took the rest of it with the Volstead Act. A Volstead Act is an act that was passed by Congress right after Prohibition, where they took the beer, the wine, and the champagne away as well. And they used that act to enforce Prohibition. Prohibition was also called the Noble Experiment. The purpose of the Noble Experiment was to eliminate poverty, okay? A lot of men were going out drinking and gambling and sleeping with hookers and stuff like that. and it was destroying the family unit in America. So we were trying to prop up the family unit and also end poverty at the same time. The amendment was enforced by the Volstead Act, which we just talked about. This is the one that took away the beer and the wine and the champagne. Prohibition caused bootlegging. Okay, anytime you make something illegal, people are going to buy it anyway. And bootlegging, these are people that actually sell you the liquor. We have other people called moonshiners that produce the liquor. And then you have people called trippers. Trippers were people that took the moonshine from the moonshiner to the to the bootlegger. I don't know why I blanked out like that. All right, Americans disagreed with the ban on alcohol, so they basically didn't care. They just bought the alcohol anyway. And this made a select group of really, really organized crime the richest people in America. The number one big dog on that one is Al Capone, okay, who ran Chicago's bootlegging. And why did he pick Chicago? Because Chicago is our railroad hub. If we could get alcohol in from Canada and ship it out on the railroads that all meet in Chicago, then Al Capone can basically furnish the entire country with their alcohol. And we know later Al Capone is going to die from syphilis while he's in, right after he got released from jail. All right, the U.S. Noble Experiment 1919 refers to prohibition, outlawing the sale of alcohol. Okay. All right, next one. What was the primary reason that speakeasies thrived during the 20s and the 1930s? So the question really is, even though alcohol was illegal, why did the illegal bars do well? And it's because people didn't care. People thought that the law was stupid, just like the current marijuana laws, okay? People smoke weed anyway because they think the law is dumb and the government shouldn't be able to tell them what to do with their body. So let's see what the answer is. Illegal activity was promoted in gangster films. Not really. I mean, it was, but it's not the reason why speakeasies were popular. To prove their equality, women frequented speakeasies. Maybe so, but that's not the reason why they were popular. Most people disagreed with prohibition. This is the one. Most people disagreed with prohibition, and therefore they went to the bar even though it was illegal. Okay? All right, next one. During the 1920s, prohibition had a major impact on American society by contributing to the expansion of organized crime. That is the next one right there, folks. During Prohibition, we had this group of ladies called flappers. They wore short dresses, and when I say short, folks, I'm talking about, you could maybe see the knees. That was short back then. Compared to today, people would have a heart attack looking at the way some girls dress today. Some guys too, I guess. But anyway, the flappers, they were young girls, they had short hair, short skirts, they drank, they spit, they smoked cigarettes, which is all big no-nos back then. You wouldn't want to do that kind of thing if you wanted to be considered a lady. They also cursed, okay? They cursed, and they never shaved their armpits or their legs either, which is, whatever, okay? So, in reality, many Americans wanted to drink and tolerated bootlegging and its violence so long as it did not hurt them, okay? The 21st Amendment repealed prohibition, repealed the 18th Amendment at the start of the Great Depression. This is one of Franklin Roosevelt's big campaign promises in the 1932 election. It was to fix the Great Depression and to repeal the 18th Amendment. Now, the way I always remember this, okay? How old do you have to be to drink? 21, right? So the 21st Amendment gives America back the right to drink. Just think of it that way. It's easy. All right, here we go. What was a primary reason that the 18th Amendment was repealed in 1933? Okay, it decreased tax revenues, maybe. It violated the Bill of Rights, no. It led to the Great Depression, definitely not. It resulted in increased organized crime, okay? There you go. That was one of the things. They were trying to They were trying to do away with the organized crime. So, you see right here. Let's go ahead and we'll stop this video right here. Okay?